And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win in any marketplace. We've got an all-star lineup for you today. And on the phones, we're having James Arthur Ray call in. He's a star of The Secret, that documentary film that came out about 10 years ago and changed a lot of people's lives. We got Jay Lee coming in as well. And in studio right now with me is Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering.
And Inspection. Glad to be here.
Yes,
this
sir.
is exciting. Glad to have you back. Last time I was on the show, it was with Ian Beckles, and the banter was a little bit different. He was a little bit more serious, and I think he got his point across a little bit stronger. He was intimidating. He was definitely intimidating.
Yeah, really? Yeah. I would have thought he would be a little bit more, what do you call it, vivacious, maybe a little bit more.
I call that he's a jock. I'm a nerd. It was intimidating.
He's a jock. I'm a nerd. Oh, man, that's funny. Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win in any marketplace. And we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We really appreciate our restaurant partner, Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza. They're running a special right now. All you have to do is mention the Consumer Quarterback Show once you go in, and they're going to give you a free appetizer. They're going to hook you up compliments of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Spicy eggplant and shrimp. It's such a great appetizer. Beef carpaccio. They've got the caprese salads, calamari, all kinds of good stuff at Brio Tuscan Grill, our official restaurant partner. You ever been over there? You been to Brio with us?
Yeah, I love the Brio Tuscan Grill. I mean, they have the calamari and the shrimp. They have the linguine and the pastas, and it's just tasty. And the red sauce and the white sauce, and the red socks and the white socks.
That's right. Well, that's a baseball team, I think.
Oh, sorry. I just started rambling.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's the Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza. We did a live show there a little while back. A lot of good stuff, man. We're probably going to set one up for next month, too. We'll do another live event over there at Brio. But really appreciate Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza. We hope you go out and check them out. So now they're offering free appetizers to our listeners along with that free water with lemon.
Can't beat it. I mean, their appetizers, sometimes I'll just go there and order a bunch of appetizers. Of course, they're not all free, but I mean, it's just delicious. I just love fried calamari, especially when you're hungover. Dipping it in the marinara sauce, sometimes getting the ranch dressing instead.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
There you go. You can't beat that. Fried food with a hangover. Mm-hmm. Pulls you right out of it.
It does.
Feel like Rocky Balboa after that, won't you?
Then get the big plate of linguine or lasagna and go right to sleep afterwards.
Yeah, sleep it off. That's a good way to do it. And Consumer Quarterback Show, we want to remind you, check out our website, consumerqb.com. A lot of information is going to be available for you at consumerqb.com. You'll see links to all of our expert contributors. You got CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, home-related services, medical fields represented there at consumerqb.com. You can find a lot of information at our website, consumerqb.com. Also, we want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it, 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Give us a call on the hotline. We love it when it rings and blings, and text messages coming in as well. We want to help you win. 813-670-7372. And as you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, helping you sell your properties for more profit. We got a couple of hot ones here we want to highlight on the Consumer Quarterback Show today. We got $1 million property here in Tampa, just outside of West Chase. Very unique property. This is something that maybe an executive, maybe a small business owner. Check this property out. 9825 Wilski Boulevard in Tampa. $1.5 million, and it's an ultra unique and exquisite home. Large lot. There's a water pond, big pond, lake in the back, and it's a contemporary style as well. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2 baths, 2 half baths, and a separate workout room and a garage. So beautiful property on Hillsboro, just north of Wilski Boulevard there, 9825, and it's outside of West Chase, so you're real close to everything. Beautiful place here in Tampa Bay. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Leo Kane back in studio. Thanks for holding it down while we were gone on vacay.
No, it was fun. I have a question about that listing, though. If you have two half bathrooms on an MLS listing, does that count as a whole bathroom?
No, you got to put it separate.
So how do you say it's like 4-3/2?
See right there, they got the 2. You got the /2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 3.
Interesting.
They got the half bath in there.
Yeah, because I figured like 2 half bathrooms doesn't equal a shower or a tub unless you put the toilets together, and then that's just kind of
that's kind of gross.
Yeah, kind of gross.
It's interesting when you look at this actual property here, though. It's a home right outside of West Chase. With West Chase, has some nice homes, but it's typical lot and block community. Neighbors pretty close. This is a unique property where you've got vacant lots on each side, and it's completely private. He's got a big fence in the front, and in the back he's got the lake. So really cool property.
That's awesome. I was just talking with some realtors last night that they can't find anything in West Chase. That's like one of the hottest zones in Tampa outside of Seminole Heights, and they just gobble. I'm surprised by the time this show airs on Monday, the property probably won't even be available.
Yeah, that's right.
The Facebook Live listeners are getting first dibs. You're like a wholesaler right now.
That's right. Get it while it lasts. So the real estate market. Let's get your pulse on the market, because I know you're out there doing a lot of inspections. You're looking at the engineering side of real estate properties, commercial and residential. What are you seeing out there?
We're not seeing any hint of a slowdown. We hired 3 people in February. I'm probably already going to have to hire another person. It's continuing to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And properties are hard to come by. 203Ks have kind of those 203Ks are the loans that have the renovation and the mortgage together.
Right.
They're really popular in the first quarter, and then they start tapering off. We saw that taper off. Everything is trending like it was last year. Where it's semi-slow, but even though it's semi-slow, we're still 6 to 7% up from where we were last year.
Yeah. When you say semi-slow, what do you mean?
Well, during spring break, people like to take vacations, so there's not as many people looking for houses. There's like these little pockets. The week of Valentine's Day is a little slow for hunting for real estate, so we see these mini pockets of slowness. But overall, where we were doing 27, 28 inspections last year around this time, we're now doing 36 to 37. So
that's great.
Part of it's we have more inspectors, but part of it is we probably couldn't have been doing that many last year just because the market was not as strong as it currently is. And I hear these talks about rates are going up, but people still got to live somewhere.
Yeah, and they're still relatively low. It's still 40 to 50-year mortgage rates when you think about it, historically low rates.
Yeah, it's great. And like I said, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon, maybe 2-3 years from now, but I'm just looking at the 12-year horizon, and the sun is shining and the weather is great.
And you think about it from a perspective of a macro, right? So you look at the student loans. This is a big one. Student loans, billions of dollars in debt out there floating. A lot of experts say that's going to be the next bubble.
I'd believe it. I remember back when I was in college, they used to push credit cards on all the college kids.
Yep.
And then they did away with that when these kids came out of college with crippling debt from credit cards and the student loans. It was like they said our generation was the first generation who was worse off financially than their parents.
Wow.
And then it led into the millennials who can't afford, they live in their parents' basement, and they have the student loan debt, and they have the credit card debt.
Right.
So they're worse off than our generation.
Mm-hmm. So student loans, I think that's going to be a big question mark on the economy. Now, how much of that is going to trickle into Tampa Bay because it's such a desirable area?
Well, we are a high-tech community. I know Ybor City, where I currently live, they're doing a lot to attract the tech sector. Mm-hmm. We have these open shared concept workspaces. I'm designing my own office building, and instead of having traditional cubicles or traditional offices, we're actually going to S-shaped and Y-shaped desks where I can have pods of people that work together. Mm-hmm. And that's the new thought. It's teams of people to accomplish a task. No one's an individual.
I like it. That's interesting. That is a unique model that you find with that space. And then I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who owns some of those types of locations, and the ability to have branch locations, for example, for my real estate company. Now we've got a branch location in South Tampa, downtown. Now that adds so much to your Google presence online.
Yeah, if it's just an office that you shove one person in, it's a little 8x10 office. Engineering companies have been using that for decades to open satellite offices. But with the way you can have these more creative workspaces or more open, modern workspaces, in that same space, you can fit 3 people who are productively working. So it's not a shell company. At that point, you truly have a new branch.
And in a lot of these spaces, they'll have an open area where people can sit, type away on their computers, their Macs, but then if they want to use the phone, they go jump in the little phone booth looking deal.
Yep.
You seen that?
Shared conference rooms, shared phone booths. It's kind of done away with the whole phone booth type thing now in the outdoors, but they're kind of coming back in the workspace. On the inside because they're needed because of the lack of quote-unquote privacy.
Yeah. If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Leo Cannyn, a longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show here and a expert contributor in the areas of home inspection and structural engineering. So let's talk a little bit about the structural engineering. You mentioned Ybor City, downtown. There's a lot of buildings that, let's say somebody were to invest in a building like that, there's definitely some considerations you want to take in terms of the structure.
Well, definitely. I mean, if you're investing in an old building, a lot of times if you're in a historic zone, they come with their own caveats. Historic Seminole Heights, historic VM Ybor proper. You can't just, if you have a metal roof and it's going bad, you can't say, well, I'm going to go to shingle. And those are the types of things you need to consider when going to purchase the property. You can't just stucco the outside of a building if it's got wood siding. You have to replace it with like for like. So these become huge cost concerns. And there was an apartment building across the street from the Quarter, which is basically 21st and Palm.
Right.
And they've been under construction for 3 years because they have structural issues with the building, but they can't just do modern fixes and make it look like you would for modern construction. They have to put the structure into modern criteria, but the building has to look old, which creates a huge, I hear the music, creates huge cost overruns and delays and creative designs.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So more from Leo Cannyn when we come back. I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned you're a gamer. I want to talk about that a little bit.
God of War.
John and I were talking about that the other day.
God of War comes out next week.
What an interesting space, the gaming industry, and people watching people play games and the promoters of the games and all the tournaments and all that cool stuff. I want to talk to you a little about that. And we have our feel-good story of the week. A dad who made a bionic arm for his son makes another one for a little girl he saw on Facebook. Stay with us here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. Looking for bilingual, Spanish-speaking real estate agent. Right now on our team, we need a bilingual, Spanish-speaking real estate agent on Platinum MVP Realty's team. We got a lot of leads coming in, and we are looking for someone like that. Reach out if you know of someone that's interested. 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline. 813-670-REQB. And consumerqb.com. You can shoot a form right there. There's an email form that comes through. consumerqb.com. I want to let you know about this event coming up as well. I'm speaking at this event coming up on the 21st. It's April 21st. It's the 2018 Tampa Bay Wealth Summit, and I'm going to be on stage speaking and talking about the Business Growth Celebrity Academy that we just launched with Ken Shamrock, Des Woodruff, Ken Shamrock. And it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be educating folks on how to make some money, how to grow their wealth. Lisa Nichols is kind of headlining this event. James Arthur Ray, who's going to be calling in later in the show, as well as Jay Lee, who we're still expecting to come in. But I want to let you know about a hot property on the beach. This is a Clearwater Beach property on Mandalay Avenue on the north side of Clearwater Beach, compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. This is a property on the beach, Mandalay, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, split floor plan, 1,800 square feet, and 1024 Mandalay Avenue. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. Check it out at platinummvprealty.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
Giving a shout out to Mary Maids, our official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Mary Maids. Welcome to your clean home. Satisfaction guaranteed by Mary Maids. Relax, it's done. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. We would love for you to reach out to Mary Maids. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you for special incentives. And in studio today with me right here is Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering. And we promised the listeners we'd talk a little bit about gaming. Something I used to do when I was growing up. Of course, I would play, I remember 10-yard fight. You remember the very first games? I loved all the football games. John Elway's quarterback. And then it went to Madden. Madden took over, dominated. I mean, you get into some of those things with your roommates, man, you're playing for hours and hours and hours. And that's kind of where I left off. It's probably been 5 or 10 years since I played a video game.
Well, it was interesting. Back in the day, back in the Nintendo mid-'80s, the sports franchises didn't see any value in video games. So 10-yard fight, for instance, you don't have real teams. Even the basketball players, like Double Dribble, you didn't have real they didn't just see any value in it, so they wouldn't extend the licensing. And then John Elway, quarterback, the Denver Broncos, actually got in on the action. And the games, Madden, it really started to take off to the point now where EA signed exclusivity deals. So EA has the rights to all college football and stuff like that. It's just amazing to see, they didn't realize the power of video games and the amount of money that the industry actually can bring in. Unbelievable
where you see that go, and the graphics have gotten so much better. I mean, sometimes you look at a video game and then you look at real TV and you're like, wow, so close. Yeah, I had a funny instance happen a couple of summers ago where I was actually playing a Madden game on my screen, and my neighbor was walking by and saw the game and asked me what the score was because it was a Sunday and those two teams were playing and they just didn't know that it was actually a video game. Yeah, it really is like that. And and then let's talk a little about the monetary side of these video games and sports. I mean, it's amazing. And you look at not only sports but just games where they're going through, and then you could also talk about the gun paradigm, the whole conundrum about guns. We're showing these kids, we're teaching kids, here's a violent game. What's the one called? Call of Duty. There's another one where you drive your cars through the streets. Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. So you're doing all these crazy things that you would not want to do in real life. And these kids are being brought that way. Well, I've heard there's two schools of psychology on that. One, you're enabling these kids, you're teaching them the guns and how to use them, and they go off. But then there's the other school of thought is you're giving them a safe place to vent. Mm-hmm. Kids have destructive thoughts. You're giving them an arena in which they can act out those destructive thoughts with no consequences, other than just blowing off the steam. They're not hurting anybody. Mm-hmm. It's in a contained environment and it's considered safe. So, I mean, I want to prescribe more towards if I get really angry,
I'd rather go run someone over in an imaginary car that's an imaginary NPC rather than get the road rage and start attacking someone because they cut me off on the highway.
Yeah. I see the point. And I think it's a little bit different when you're tapping on keys on a remote control versus going out and punching a punching bag or kicking the bags and stuff like that. Athletically sweating and getting it out. But yeah, I understand the point. That's interesting. And the other side of the gun debate, which kind of a bunny trail we went down here, but the other side of that is the FDA. The Food and Drug Administration, the pharmaceutical industry, billions and billions of dollars being poured into all these different types of Xanax, Zolofts, all these different types of mind altering drugs. I think that's a big part of it.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, back in the day when we were growing up, kids were just a little too hyper. Now, if you're just exhibited talking back in school, they want to put you on these drugs because you have ADHD.
That's right.
And
it's all about money, man.
Yeah,
just all about money. So we were talking about. Wanted to mention what John was mentioning the other day. What's that site called? Twitch. Yeah. So you look at that.
That is the way people like me can make money in video games.
Describe it.
Basically, if you've ever watched any reality TV, you know how occasionally they'll break into and they'll have a person talking to a camera and they're describing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, you're playing a video game and basically one person is describing what they're doing while they're playing. It could be how to beat level 3-2 in Dark Souls, or it could be a gun rundown in Call of Duty on the different perks for a submachine gun. Mm-hmm. And they'll get followers. And based on how many followers they have, advertisers will pay these people, kind of like you mentioning Merry Maids and Brio Tuscan Grill.
Yeah.
These same kids get paid to mention a certain headphone, or they'll get paid to mention a certain controller. And they'll have these followers, and it's neat because, like Facebook Live, you can read the comments coming in.
Right.
The Twitchers can actually see comments coming in as well,
yeah.
And they can interact with their live studio audience. So you get a bunch of people. It's like a big party, and if you get people that are really good at explaining or good at playing the game, it becomes really fun to watch.
Yeah, the more articulate you can be when you're talking about the categories. I get it. I remember trying to beat those different boards, and you figure out the cheating things that you could do in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and then you beat him, and go the round 2 or the whole round through the game. I think he went again. But it's interesting when you think about the monetization today, how people are deriving money, how it's going online, how the internet was, wow, it's the internet now. It's your phone, which is your everything. It's not only just to make a cell phone call. Now it's so many different apps, so many different. You can Netflix is huge. You think about Blockbuster versus Netflix. How it just got changed. So there's always changes happening in technology. Just yesterday, I went to Target. I had to buy a new printer for my printer, scanner, copier. Guess how much I paid? I couldn't believe it.
Like under $100.
Yeah, $89 for a full color HP, this and that. And just 2 years ago, I think I was paying over $200 or $300 for it. So the technology continues to come down.
Oh, they'll make their money back up in ink.
That's what threw me off. I was like, wow, there's double the money just in ink because I bought a couple extra cartridges.
Yeah, they you get the printer for like $90, and they give you an ink cartridge that's half full, and then the ink cartridges are like $50 a piece. It's like.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I'm like, I'll just go buy a new printer than get a new ink cartridge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you think about the impact on the environment with some of this stuff here, but yeah. So if you just joined us, Brandon Brimes here talking with Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering here in studio. So back to Barrel. Let's talk about Barrel. Let's talk about real estate a little bit. So with Barrel Engineering and what you guys are doing with the economy where it's at. I mean, it's gangbusters. I mean, properties are still going quickly. There's a lack of inventory in the marketplace. And we're kind of fighting that uphill battle as far as inventory goes. A lot of new realtors out there, so it's challenging.
It's interesting because we're a major sponsor in Greater Tampa Realtors, and we are basically the sponsor for every one of their new orientations from here through the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. I see 70 new real estate agents every other week.
Wow.
And it's amazing because maybe 2/3 of them will never do a deal.
Yep.
And only an eighth of them will still be an agent a year from now.
That's right.
We're up to like 17,000 realtors or real estate agents in the greater Tampa area. It's just, the number is mind-blowing.
Is that including Pro as well? Pinellas Realtor?
I think the 17,000 is, because
for the whole Bay Area.
Yeah, greater Tampa Realtor split. Pro, which is Pinellas, is separate, and Pasco's got a separate one too.
Yep.
So I think the 17 is all three of them.
Yeah.
But it's a staggering number. The old joke is if you know 5 people, you know 4 realtors.
Yeah, exactly. And if you got a kid soccer coach, you're going to list your house with him because he's your friend. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you're leaving money on the table. You're not getting professional representation. The other thing I hear a lot of times is, when I'm calling on FSBOs or expireds is, oh, well, I got a friend in the business. Many times when you have that friend in the business, they're not going to give you the best effort that they can. They're not going to give you the best deal that they can because of the threat of losing the business is not there.
I always get aggravated with the part-time realtors, the ones that do it maybe 5-10 hours a week helping out a friend. They have no idea what the transaction is, no idea what the insurance requirements are, how to get a loan processed, how to overcome an appraiser objection to comparables. It becomes frustrating all around, even for the home inspectors.
Yeah, it sure does. And it's a challenge, and it puts a lot of work on the veteran agent like myself, who's going to have to pick up where they left off and coach them through the process. All right, stay with us here. More from Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host. We'll be right back after this short break. And our feel-good story of the week coming up as well. Dad who made a bionic arm for his son makes another one for a little girl he saw on Facebook. Stay with us here. Consumer Quarterbacks Show. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com. Brandon Rhymes PA, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter, and at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram. Short break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Tricia up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, helping you win in any marketplace. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. And we'd love for you to check out that book, teaching people how to start their own show, grow their celebrity, become a sphere of influence, and just really blow up their business, blow up their social media, taking it to a whole new level. Business partner Ken Shamrock and Des Woodruff Lindsay as well on that. So really excited about that one. And we got a speaking event coming up as well on the 21st. So it's going to be a cool event. Check us out. It's the Wealth Summit, the Global Wealth Summit. We got Lisa Nichols from the movie The Secret on air, going to be speaking as well. James Arthur Ray, who's going to be calling into the show in a little bit. Jay Lee as well. And myself speaking at the Global Wealth Summit Tour. And it's the Petersburg Marriott Clearwater, St. Petersburg Marriott Clearwater on the 21st. Check it out. There's tickets available online for that event, and awesome stuff. And in studio today, Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering, Jay Lee in studio as well. And let's talk to Jay a little bit here. So Jay, give us a little intro, a little background on yourself, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me here this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised. I moved here to the Tampa Bay area 4 years ago, 2014. I was here. I was homeless. I was broke, busted, and disgusted.
Nice. Yeah.
And didn't have any means of transportation. I hit the ground running. I wanted to set my business up here. I took a quantum leap. You know, I was laid off from my last job in D.C. the very next day after my mom passed away. So what drove me to create this company, WAN Global, was the fact that I do not want anyone to go through chronic unemployment.
Yeah.
So if our company is designed to help businesses expand and grow their bottom line through conferences and seminars. And once we help them do that, what we'll do is have them to hire more people for job opportunities.
Yeah.
Because as more companies grow, the more help they're going to need.
That's right.
So that's been my drive. That's been my passion. And this is finally getting ready to launch next Saturday.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you went from homeless to now promoting events, bringing in some big-time speakers, Lisa Nichols, James Arthur Ray, yourself going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking at this event. What can people expect at this event?
A life-changing experience, game-changing. I promise people that you will not be the same person leaving this event.
Yeah, if you apply yourself.
If you apply yourself. And, and here's the challenge. I challenge people. If you come, give me a report 1 year from now.
Yeah.
If you don't come, give me a report 1 year from now.
Right. Yeah. See what the difference is, right?
That's
I like
right.
that. I like that. And it's a great venue as well over in Clearwater.
Yes. The St. Pete Marriott Clearwater, great facility. They have a nice pool there for those of you who are coming in from out of town.
Yeah.
We have people from Arizona. As a matter of fact, Brandon, we have a young lady coming from Arizona in a wheelchair. There's no excuses.
Yeah.
So we have people from Missouri. We have people from Kansas, Washington, D.C., Delaware. They're coming from all over the place.
Yeah. I like that. And it's so much today. It's so much about the mindset. Let's talk a little bit about mindset. And that's something that you speak about on stage, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so how can people take, it's those small shifts, it's kind of the compound effect, like Darren Hardy talked about in his book, but, so it's the small shifts and it's the overall mindset that you have going into any business or task or whatever you're doing.
Yes. I did a talk once on a live feed. I said poverty and prosperity both come from the same place. It's your decision which one you're going to manifest, which one is going to take toll of your life. If you're thinking that you can't do something, just like Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So if you think you can, you're right. You think you can't, you're right. If you know that you're going to prosper, regardless of what goes on around you. One of my mentors, Les Brown, said there are things going on around you, there are things going to happen to you, but the most important things are the ones that's happening in you.
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So that's where it all starts, from that mindset. Everything that is physical comes from a non-physical place. So as long as you have the mindset, the will to win, it will manifest in the physical. But you have to have a strong why, and you have to know what your why is.
Know what your why is. I like that. I want to come back to that, but I also want to talk about manifesting. You hear so much about manifesting. You got people that are, so-called life coaches. Sometimes, they're so young. They're 22 years old, 23 years old, call themselves a life coach. It's like, okay, what are you going to teach me, coach? But this whole idea of manifesting, what exactly does that mean?
Well, just like you said, when you mentioned life coaches, I tell people, you're a life coach, but you don't know who the leaders are in your industry. There are people who call themselves life coaches and don't know who Lisa Nichols is. So how do you be a life coach? If I'm an investor in let's say the stock market, why will I not know who Warren Buffett is?
Right.
So you have to know the leaders in your industry.
Right.
Know who they are, learn from them, and find people who are better than you and pick their brain, make them your mentor.
So make a mentor, right? So the manifesting is this something like the secret and making sure that you're writing down your goals, keeping them forefront of your mind at all times? How does one manifest?
Well, one thing about The Secret, I've watched it so many times. I still love the movie.
Yep.
The one word that was missing out of The Secret was work.
Right.
You can't think about being a millionaire and sit on your sofa and think somebody's going to knock on the door and say, "Who is it? It's that millionaire status you wanted to manifest." So you have to put in the work. My mentor, James Arthur Ray, who is speaking, he says it perfectly. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. Yeah. And if you take the last 6 letters in the law of attraction, you have action.
Right.
That's your vision, and that's your action. With vision with no action, you have a fantasy. And action with no vision, you have chaos.
Right.
You have to have them both.
Yeah. So there's something along those lines of when you have these big lofty ideas, it's great to have goals. You want to have goals that are going to drive you, and it gets back to the why. So let's come back to that.
Yes.
So the why is the driving force behind why a single mother might start a business where she's helping other single mothers through the process of birth or whatever that niche business might be. So finding your why, and then also finding a niche that you can carve out for your own.
Yes. I've learned from Brian Tracy, if you go back to your childhood days, between 7 and 14, you will find out what you're supposed to be doing as an adult.
Right.
Your childhood passion.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I found myself as a speaker, because I used to rap, I used to break dance, sing. So I knew I was supposed to be in front of an audience, inspiring them. And what really found my niche as a coach or a speaker or a trainer was the fact that I was coaching football. And that's how it all got started with me.
Nice.
So, manifestation, finding your why. And I tell folks, if your why don't make you cry, it's not big enough. Anything will break you down if your why is not your backbone, if it's not strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's so much aptitude. It's more about your attitude.
Your
right?
attitude.
So it's when you think about here's a big debate nowadays. It's college debt, student loans. Leo and I were talking about that earlier in the show. We think that might be the next big bubble that's going to hit the American economy and really cause some recessionary type action in the economy globally, as potential global implications. So the conundrum of, should someone go to college? It's an individual choice, but nowadays it's more college is made for making money for the people that it supports versus passing along valuable information to students.
Right. I have some college credit myself, but I have college debt as well.
Right.
And you have to. I think it depends on what you're looking to get out of it. If you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, you want to look at the purpose of you going. So if you're going to college, you're going to accumulate $250,000 worth of college debt that you can never file for bankruptcy and include that in there. You have to pay it one way or another. Then you have kids. Then you have a mortgage. Then you have insurance. And then you got this big college debt sitting over your head.
Right.
Now, the average American average salary is around $40,000 to maybe $60,000, $70,000 a year. How are you going to pay off that kind of debt when you're accumulating life debt? The cost of living.
Yeah.
So if you're in college, you have to determine, is this going to be a good ROI on my college investment?
Yeah.
I can't tell you no college is not good or it is good. It depends on that individual and what their studies
It's an individual decision. And here's the thing. I love, I like, Grant Cardone's been on the show. I love these social media influencers. Gary Vaynerchuk, I just purchased his book, Crushing It.
Yes.
The follow-up to the 09.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's Crushing It. And, I'm halfway through that audio book, which, he talks about it in there. He says, when you're coming out, when you're growing up, we were growing up, it was, go be a doctor, be a lawyer, get your degree, do that type of thing. Nowadays, kids are finding their influence. They're gamers. They're being a gamer. They're finding these niches, and you're becoming a millionaire famous by being a social influencer.
That's
So
right.
that's part of what we launched with the Business Grow Celebrity Academy of, hey, here's how you can grow your celebrity, grow your sphere of influence, because we talked about it earlier in the show as well. 17,000 realtors. How do you differentiate yourself? We got a radio show, we got a TV show, we got a lot of social media content. We're blowing it up with our partners here with Tampa Bay Multimedia and some of the other partners that we're doing. So stay with us here. More from our expert contributors when we come back. We got Leo Kane in the house, Barrel Engineering, and a great gamer. Are you a great gamer?
I'm good in my own right. I can hold my own.
All right. And Jay Lee, he's a speaker, he's an author. He's going to be at our event coming up on the 21st, and more from Jay as well. And we also had Dad who made a bionic arm for his son, makes another one for a little girl he saw on Facebook on our Feel Good Story of the Week. Stay with us here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty is our premier sponsor, platinummvprealty.com. And our hotline number, 813-670-7372 and 813-670-7372. Give us a call, shoot a text message over, and also visit consumerqb.com. Submit the live form there at consumerqb.com. qb.com. There's an email form that you could submit that'll come directly through to us, and we'll make sure we get right back to you. And we want to give a shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. This is our official hotel partner. Beautiful place to visit. It's the first new hotel built in decades on the beach. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the intercoastal waterway. Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach, the first new hotel built on the beach in decades. Now, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get 20% off of your stay over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach. All right, back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. Leo Kane in the house. Jay Lee as well here with us today. And I want to get into our positivity segment. Everything we do on our show is all about helping people, a moral obligation to give back and be that force for good. So we're going to tell you something good here.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this dad who made a bionic arm for his son makes another one for a little girl he saw on Facebook. 6-year-old Kira Campbell was born without a left hand. She was told by doctors that a prosthetic limb wouldn't be suitable. When Callum Miller heard her story on Facebook, he offered to help. Miller made a robotic hand for his 10-year-old son Jamie earlier this year with a 3D printer, and in a heartwarming act, he has now designed one for little Kira. She can now hold stuff properly, which she couldn't before. She's loving it. She's becoming more independent. Kira's mom, Nikki, told the Gazette Live she's getting used to using it day by day, and she can put it on herself now. She was using it to drink milk, and now she's become more independent. I just can't thank Callum enough for what he's done. I've never seen her this excited to go back to school. So great story right there. Feel good story. What do you think about that, Leo?
I liked it. I mean, 3D printers are just phenomenal on what they're able to do nowadays.
That is just an amazing feat with technology.
Yeah, I was happy I could build a box with the 3D printer, but now you can build limbs.
Have you messed around with it?
Yeah, it's fun. It gets messy though. The wax and the stickiness can be involved. Especially paper jams on a 3D printer are a lot worse than a regular printer.
Paper jam.
And ink's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I bet, man. That's interesting. What a cool way to, change a kid's life right there, building a prosthetic arm for him. Yeah. So Leo Kane, Jay Lee in the studio here. So let's talk a little bit about, just openly, about what's happening in the world right now. We've got, there's some negativity out there. When you think politics, you think about these other things, but really, I mean, it's what a great time to be alive. What a great time with all of the technologies we have. We talked about on this show, with the ability to change your life by attending an event. You go to an event, you're changing your life, you're setting your life on a different trajectory, and a lot of it is about your influences. What's influencing you, who's influencing you, what are you listening to, and what are you putting into your mind on a daily basis. So, yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, when you think about influences, what are some of your main influences? What are things you listening to?
Well, my main, I have three. Of course, James Arthur Ray is one.
Yep.
Les Brown.
Yeah.
And Dr. Willie Jolly. Dr. Willie Jolly was called in my alley back when he was the CEO of Ford Motor Company.
Wow.
And called Dr. Willie Jolly in because he read his book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jolly had consulted with them for 3 years. And the result of that was them rejecting bailout money.
Wow.
The only automaker out of Detroit to reject bailout money.
Which maker did that?
Ford
did.
Ford,
wow,
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that was big news back then.
Wow.
So you have to get Dr. Willie Jolly in because he's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, any of those big time speakers, people like that, we'd love to have them call in, especially come into the studio if they're in Tampa Bay. That's something we want to do. What about you, Leo? Who's one of your mentors, or what have you followed growing up?
It's just
major influences.
Yeah, it's a difficult question for me because I think back over time, and I read a lot from authors that are long past. So there's really influencers if they're not like people who are constantly coming out with new content and stuff like that. Founders of the podcast movement. The name escapes me at the moment, but that was a big influence because I got into internet radio, and I was actually, and I'm drawing a blank on the gentleman's name, but I was mentored by the person underneath him, and I know that person's name, but he's not a big person because he's behind the scenes. But that just puts me in the way of online radio, helped me be sitting here today. So just taking a niche industry, creating something new, something common, but creating it in a new spin was a huge influence on me.
Right. Yeah, the whole podcasting industry, that's another area that's just totally grown. It's a unique space because there's one of the first ones that hit was John Lee Dumas, and we were talking about him, and he was mentioned in the book, the Gary Vaynerchuk book, and he talked about he's making over $200,000 a month now from different types of revenue streams that he set up through that. And just about, can you think about that? Just think about that for a minute. We live in a time here in 2018 where you can start a podcast, which is simply talking to someone else, interviewing other people about something that you have an interest in, or for him, it's Entrepreneurs on Fire, which is cool. And you're able to make an inordinate amount of income, just from from monetization through your voice, and the ability and your persona, so it's what a great time we live in. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, that's also had a negative impact on like regular traditional media, like TV networks. There's so many channels, there's so many TV shows where they used to hit that 18 to 49 demographic, and if a show couldn't draw in 12 million viewers a week, they canceled it. Now NBC, ABC, they're renewing shows right now that have like a 3 to 4 million viewer because it's so diluted between the podcasts and the Twitch streams and the other networks with all this content. Everyone wants a smaller piece of that bigger pie, and they're having to shrink their numbers to do it.
Yeah, they're changing expectations. They're fighting. One of my favorites is Tony Robbins, one of my main mentors. I went to Namale, Fiji, studied his business mastery, been to several of his events in West Palm Beach and Orlando, and I remember he tried to start a show. And it didn't get the certain ratings that he needed to hit. I thought for sure it was going to take off. I mean, I love Tony. A lot of people do, and he's a powerhouse in that industry. But it's a great point you made, Leo, when changing technologies happen, and there's a really cool thing that's going to happen here in the next year or two, I believe, is traditional media, like you mentioned, TV. Magazines are pretty much dead unless they're niche magazines. Print advertising as a whole is definitely slowing down and slowly dying because it's so much on the mobile devices. But there's an interesting thing that Vaynerchuk mentioned in that book as well, is that in the coming years, it's going to be TV is going to be outreached by actual live shows and streaming from the different platforms online, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the major top 2 or 3 right there.
I can believe it. I mean, CW recently went to a 6-day format coming in the fall, and that's so they'll have enough content to feed their own streaming network, CW Seed. And that's the whole reasoning behind that. So they renewed their entire lineup of shows, and that's why they're trying to build a streaming station.
Wow. Yeah, it's different, and locally here, Kevin Harrington, he started off with television infomercials, right? So he had these infomercials, and he said, the way he got his start is he noticed that in the late nights, morning hours, there was just the bars on the screen. Yeah. So he said, man, there's an idea. Boom, boom, boom. He's going to all these trade shows. He puts the infomercials on. So maybe that might be coming back. More of that space is coming back, right? All these people looking to fill that time with shows. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. So it's a great time to live, great time to be alive, even though there are some negativity, some negative things happening, and I think when we think about, back to the gun control we talked about earlier, with the school shootings and different things, now when an event happens, everybody knows about it instantly. More people know about it. So, a lot of these things that happen, they're being somewhat blown out of proportion, and that's where they're calling for gun control, these silly type scenarios. But they're overlooking the FDA, who's ramming pharmaceuticals down our throat. These types of scenarios. So yeah, great time to live, great time to be alive.
Yes, it is.
Let's jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning.
All right, we got to go a quick round here, quick hits. So top tips, nuggets of advice. Let's start here with Jay. Nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Quick hit.
Parting words of wisdom is to stay clear of negative environments and negative people.
Yeah, I like that. Exactly. Avoid it at all cost.
All costs.
Right? Leo?
Since you talked about the mind, I'll talk about the body. Summer's right around the corner. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. If you're outdoors and you don't have to use the bathroom at least once an hour, you're not drinking enough water.
Yeah, that's right. Get your water drink on. Stay healthy. Dr. Mejia is on our show as well. Anybody wants to reach out to a doctor, Dr. Mejia has a great rejuvenation clinic on Lineball Avenue there, I believe it is, Lineball. So, hey, great show. Leo Kane, Barrel Engineering, reach out to him. Anything you need in that space. Jay Lee, he's going to be speaking at this Global Wealth Summit coming up on the 21st, and Saturday the 21st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. the Tampa Bay Wealth Summit. All right, I want to thank our expert contributors, our listeners, our viewers of our TV show, and we want to remind you how simple it is to be a force for good, a random act of kindness. Pack up some food you have, leftover food. We all have leftover food from time to time. Carry it with you to and from your commute. Hand it to that person that you see in need, that person on the side of the road that's begging for change, begging for dollars. Hand it to them, give them some food, and be a force for good. We'll see you next time here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.